you like to drive around and talk about the latest happenings, this is the channel you need. So subscribe and follow Carmentary.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Carmentary. My name is Neil. I'm driving in my car, and I'm talking about stuff. Today, it's been a while. It has been a while since I've done a Carmentary. I'm going to try to get back in the groove here and see if I can. Today, we're going to talk about the upcoming winter season. I just spent the entire frickin' day from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. Cleaning up outside around my house here in the outskirts of Sapporo, Japan, a place that gets a lot of snow. So at this time every year, all of us locals, we sort of get in this sort of like, hey, don't come and fucking talk to me right now. I'm busy getting ready for the winter. Leave me alone. I got shit to do. Changing tires, making sure you have kerosene in the tanks, making sure your kerosene stove in the house actually turns on. Mine did not. There's a fucking problem. On and on and on. There's always something to do in preparation for the big upcoming winter. And as snow lovers, snowboarders, snow surfers, skiers, sledders, ice skaters, whatever the hell it is you like about winter and cold temperatures, you know, you've got that sort of anticipation building up. And people are starting to talk about things. The main subject of conversation is now winter. So let me give you the update here, Hokkaido, Japan. One of the epicenters for the global snow scene now, as I see it. You've got your Whistler Black Cone. I would say you've got Aspen, Colorado. You've got Tahoe. You've got Chamonix. You've got, there's all kinds of places around the world, but basically those, you know, the hot spots where you have a lot of ski resorts. People are willing to travel long distances to go there, enjoy the snow, enjoy the scenery, the food, whatever it is that makes that place in particular special. Hokkaido is definitely one of them now. And so I want to sort of fill you in on the vibe, the things I've been hearing on the street, what people have been talking about. And let's get right fucking to it. Stop beating around the bush, goddammit. Shit is gonna get expensive. That is... Okay, but here's the caveat. For those of you who have dollars, or basically pretty much any currency now except for the Japanese yen, you got a bargain. You got a bargain coming up this year. No matter what, it's 150 yen to the dollar. You're getting 50 extra yen every time you change over a dollar. That's crazy. It hasn't been like that for a long time. Japan economy crumbling. Don't want to get into the reasons behind that, but let's just say the exchange rate is very favorable for those visiting Japan. So I highly recommend you book a ticket and get on over here and spend those dollars as yen, because you're going to get a bargain. Now, in preparation for that, but not really the ski resorts, some of the ski resorts, now let me say that again, all of the ski resorts, I would say all ski resorts across the board have raised prices. Now, lift pass prices. Now, how much they've raised them varies tremendously. Some of them are going for a very minimal, you know, the least amount possible, keeping it in perspective that, hey, you know, times are tough. We don't want to alienate the local crowd. We got to keep prices within some kind of range that, you know, people are going to, it's more expensive, but it's only like $3 more. It's only like $5 more. All right, whatever. Everything's more expensive now. You know, that's the vibe. You know, you go to the supermarket, eggs are more expensive. You know, everything's more expensive. So, of course, lift tickets are going to be a little more expensive. But let's take, for example, the case of Hokkaido's self-proclaimed #1 resort. I think they say #1 because it's the biggest has the most terrain of any single ski resort. Rusutsu, very famous around the world now as one of those powder havens. Great resort. I do work for them, photography and video work in the winter, so you know, maybe I'm a little biased. That's where I learned to snowboard. I learned to snowboard and to ski basically at Rusutsu. I can still consider it my home mountain to this day. I love the place. They have raised their prices too, and I'm gonna come out and say it's not, I think the price is on par for the size of the mountain and the scope of the terrain. If you look at it on an international level, they've raised their prices to, I think it's like 11,500 yen. So with the exchange rate now, for those of you overseas, it's not that bad. What is that going to work out to? Like $70 or something like that, roughly. For those of us over here, if you want to do, you know, if it was a perfect world and we had a 100 yen to the dollar exchange rate and everything was equal, that'd be like $115, right? $115 day lift ticket. It's getting up there. It's definitely getting up there. It's not, and literally 2 years ago, it was less than half of that. In 2 years, the price has gone from like 5,000 yen a day, which is about $50 a day, to 115 bucks a day. You want to talk about some major inflation percentages going on there? I don't even know how to calculate that. It's pretty fucking high, okay? For the local Hokkaido person who makes jack all, salaries are not going up. This is the real issue economically in Japan. Salaries have not gone up for like 30 years or more. Since I got here. I've been here over 30 years. Nothing. I make no more money now. I make more money now because I figured out how to compress more work into a day. That's it. So I make way more money now than I did 30 years ago, because 30 years ago I was like 20-year-old. I was just like, oh, whatever, I'll do that, and then I want to go party and drink with my friends. Now, I work from 8 a.m. until midnight every freaking day, figure out how to compress more work into a day, and make more money. So, that's it, but the salaries have not gone up. I get paid like the same day rate that I got, or less than I got 30 years ago. Anyway, so that's what it's like for everybody, and the locals are pissed. Just so you know, the locals they're like, what? $150 a day? No. Oh, big old car crash here. Ooh, that looks kind of nasty. Someone just jumped the curb. Ooh, man, smashed. I hope that person's okay. Ooh, drive safe, everybody. So that's the situation here. I think, from what I've heard, I don't have exact numbers, but you know, across Hokkaido, Teine, Niseko United. The Niseko United is like 4 separate resorts that you can buy combined day pass for. They raised their price. I think it's like now 8,500 yen, which, you know, still I think is, especially for the foreign crowd, is a bargain with the exchange rate. But even if that was $85 a day for a pass that covers all of Niseko, one of the hot spots of global ski and snowboard tourism, that's not a bad deal, you know? That's not a bad deal for what you're getting. Especially now when I look at social media and I see what's going on in North America, where you have these absolutely insane lift lines, you know, people, the opening day or whatever, and it's just ridiculous lift lines, and that's like the same price or more expensive, and you're gonna stand in that lift line for hours and hours. Yeah, I think even though prices are going up, they've gone up, they're probably gonna go up more, you're still getting a real bargain when you come to Japan to ski and snowboard. That'll be my final comment for the international audience. for the locals living here in Japan, tough times. I think in the long term, resorts need to come up with some kind of a system to provide more incentives and discounts for locals, citizens of the cities or states or prefectures or whatever. There's got to be a way to create more flexible passes, more like hourly passes available just to citizens. Maybe it can be done through an app. I mean, there's got to be ways to work that out and, you know, keep the interest level and the passion for skiing and snowboarding high among the citizenry. Because as we saw in the last couple of years, as soon as something happens and travel is suddenly prohibited, boy, your whole economy really depends on the locals. And if you've alienated them and they hate you because you raised the prices too much, they're not going to come and ski. So that's my thought on that. The resorts definitely need to sit down and, you know, I think right now there's kind of a lot of this, well, the foreigners, the tourism's going to go through the roof now, especially with the, you know, everyone's looking at the yen going, oh man, great exchange rate. That means everyone's going to come here and spend their money. Let's just, you know, raise the prices to sort of international levels, take the cash while we can. Bada bing, bada boom, make some money. But long term, I don't know. Other than that, everybody is talking about, or at least the news media is talking about, you know, how we had a very hot summer across Japan, even here in northern Japan, Hokkaido. Very, very hot, very late fall due to that hot summer. A lot of things affected. Wineries, a lot of wineries here in Hokkaido. Great production. It was rough this year, apparently, especially for red grapes, like your Pinot Noirs and that kind of stuff. Very popular here. We had some explosions in like bug populations. We had this attack of these little gnats that sometimes they kind of come out a little bit and you're like annoyed by them. But this fall, it was over the top for the last 10 days. Like, you couldn't go outside. You were eating them. They were in your eyes. It was terrible. So that also due to the very warm weather. Right now it's like November the 4th, and it should be, we could have snow on the ground. In years past, we have had snow on the ground before this in Sapporo, where I live. This year, not a chance. Right now it's like 9 degrees Celsius. It's quite warm. Today I was outside, just long sleeve shirt, working, cleaning up. I wasn't sweating, but it was warm. We have another week to 10 days before a snowflake appears on the weather report. On the 13th, there is a snowflake mark. So it's gonna start to get cold, and I think we'll start to see some snow, but it's all about 2 weeks behind. So I think the resort openings are gonna be a little late. I'm looking at the very first week of December, just like last year. Last year was December the 2nd. It's finally snowed and the resorts, boom, opened. And then from there on, it was like game on for like a month and a half. It just literally snowed nonstop for a month and a half last season. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen this year. There's a lot of this El Nino talk. Everybody's saying, you know, very warm in certain areas, wetter in certain areas, da-da-da. So we shall see. I feel, in my experience, some years there's more snow, some years there's less, but it always seems to hit really intense for about a month to a month and a half at some point during the winter. Whether that comes a little early or that comes late, it still comes. So hopefully that lines up with your trip plans. Obviously, the best chance for that to happen is late December through the middle of February. Those are the prime zone. Now, sometimes we'll get like a dry February or a dry March. Like this last season, March was, from the end of February, it pretty much didn't snow for like a month. It was pretty shit, and a lot of people were here. Well, I came kind of late to miss the crowds, and now there's no powder. I'm disappointed. Like, Well, shit happens, man. It's like, and then after everyone, all the tourists finally went home, and they're like, stopped their complaining, and they went home, it started snowing again. And April was actually quite cold, and there was quite a few storm cycles that came through, and the higher alpine zones were really good, and all the locals had a great spring, and we're like, yay, it was an amazing end of the winter. So it happens. Okay? All right. I think we've covered some things I wanted to cover. That is my prediction on winter. There will be a lot of snow at some point. It is going to be a late start, though. That's the vibe. It's warm. It's going to be a great winter because you're going to save a lot of money. Okay? I think, yeah. See, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. See? Well, that was magical. We just worked it out. There may be less snow, but you're going to pay a lot less for it. So you're going to go home just as happy as you would be if there was a lot of snow and you were paying more for it, right? Isn't it amazing how it all works out? See? You just got to look at it right. So, save your dollars, change them into yens, and come on over. There'll be some snow, and you'll have a good time. All right, that's it for today's Carmentary. I gotta stop here and drop off some scrap metal. I was cleaning up around the house, and there was a lot of scrap metal. So I'm bringing it here where I can store it away for free. Look at this tree. Let's see if maybe you'll get a glimpse. The fall colors came late, but the reds, the maples, have been spectacular. Excuse me. No, really. The maples this year, it took a little while, but man, the color came out, and damn, it was good. It was like 10 days to 2 weeks of just absolute beauty. I love the fall colors. It is just such a great season. Anyway, that's it, folks. I'll be back. Drive safe.
If you like to drive around and talk about the latest happenings, this is the channel you need. So subscribe and follow Carmentary.